you did not know about Back to the Future 2.
Woohoo.
It was released on November 22nd, 1989, and it had a budget of $40 million. And it made $332.5 million at the box office.
I think it did well.
Now, it wasn't guaranteed that there was going to be a sequel. So, when you see this at the end of the first movie, that wasn't in the original theatrical release. Because they didn't know that they were going to get a sequel. Okay. This was added to the home release after the fact, and now it's obviously in every version of the movie.
I was about to say, because, I mean, I was too young to see it in theaters, and VHS kids, when we would watch it, that was already on there, so I just always, thought it was a part of it.
Now, also, very early on, in one of the kind of original drafts of Back to the Future 2, Marty was going to travel to 1967, and he was going to get arrested for not having a draft card.
Why?
It was just one of the original ideas that they had, and they ended up not going with it.
Yeah, I don't know. That would have been good for Eric Stoltz.
Yes. Now that would be an amazing way to bring back the Back to the Future franchise, is if you go to some alternate universe where it's still Eric Stoltz as Marty McFly.
They left me here.
Now, there are some nods to other sci-fi movies in Back to the Future 2, including the Star Car right here from The Last Starfighter, as well as the Spinner vehicle, Spinner, from Blade Runner. I don't know why I laughed at that.
That almost looks like one of the Batman tumblers.
It's very similar because it's got the two kind of up front. If you're looking at it from the top, it's actually there. It kind of looks like that.
Is it called the Spinner because you have two girls sit in the front and spin?
I knew you were going to do something like that. You son of a bitch. All right. Did you know, after the trilogy ended, there was a Back to the Future Saturday morning cartoon? Now, Christopher Lloyd did return as Doc Brown in the live action scenes that were at the beginning and the end of each episode. Doc Brown also had a lab assistant. Do you know who played the lab assistant?
No, I was too young to even notice or pay attention.
It was Bill Nye, the Science Guy, and this actually helped lead to the show Bill Nye, the Science Guy. And also a quick side note, Christopher Lloyd, even though he was in the live action part of this show, he didn't voice the animated version of Doc Brown.
Right.
That was voiced by Dan Castellaneta.
There you go. He's not retiring, is he?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's only the lady that does Millhouse.
I mean, he's almost in his 70s by now.
And I got to tell you a real quick side story here. I feel successful as a child of the 80s and 90s that when things are going well, my mom will say, everything's coming up Millhouse. Honest to God, it makes me so happy when I'm talking like, you know, if I had a good day in fantasy football or if things are going well at work or my YouTube channel has a spike or whatever it is, my mom will make the comment. She'll be like, everything's coming up Millhouse. And I'm like, you're goddamn right it is, Mom. And finally,
with a different voice or somebody else.
And finally, the story has continued on in comic form, including Back to the Future, Biff to the Future.
I was going to say, is that John Cena?
It was released in 2017, and it tells the story of Biff's rise to power using the Sports Almanac.
I think that would be an interesting series, to do how he got rich and did all that stuff. That would have been interesting to see.
Well, maybe they'll adapt it from the comic books because that's essentially what these show. It shows the story of how that happened.